America's new mission in Iraq, one that President Obama warned today would be, quote, a long-term project. And just tonight, the Pentagon announcing 4 new airstrikes. Earlier today, we saw these new images of the first U.S. strikes on terror targets in northern Iraq, missiles taking out militants and their weapons below. Meanwhile, parachuting to Earth from U.S. cargo planes, huge bundles of food and water, humanitarian aid for thousands of refugees trapped on a mountaintop. Today, those refugees were on the move again, looking to escape the violence and deprivation. We have team coverage, and we begin with ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, who's traveling with the president. John.
Good evening, Byron. The president arrived here in Martha's Vineyard this afternoon, and he has already played a round of golf, but he has also spoken today to the leaders of Germany, France, and Britain as his attention remains focused thousands of miles away on the military operation over Iraq. As 500-pound bombs dropped from F-18 fighter jets and missiles fired from U.S. Predator drones pummeled terrorist targets in northern Iraq, President Obama bluntly acknowledged today there is no clear end date on this military operation.
I don't think we're going to solve this problem in weeks. I think this is going to take some time. The Iraqi security forces, in order to mount an offensive and be able to operate effectively with the support of populations in Sunni areas, are going to have to revamp, get resupplied, have a clear strategy.
Although the president reaffirmed his promise not to send ground troops.
Because we should have learned a lesson from our long and immensely costly incursion in Iraq.
He described a broader mission for U.S. airstrikes than he did just 2 days ago, when he said the sole objectives were to protect Americans, especially the 150 Americans serving in the northern Iraqi city of Erbil, and to prevent a genocide of a minority group surrounded on a mountaintop by the terrorist group known as ISIL. Today, he described something more.
We have to make sure that ISIL is not engaging in the actions that could cripple a country permanently.
Of immediate concern, the terrorists have taken control of Iraq's largest dam, which not only supplies electricity to some 1.5 million Iraqis, but if destroyed, could send a tsunami of water flooding all the way from Mosul in the north to Baghdad, even threatening the U.S. Embassy. The president says he is keeping congressional leaders informed of military operations over Iraq, but Byron, he says he doesn't need to go back to Congress yet to ask for additional money for airstrikes.
Jonathan Karl, thank you. I want to bring in ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, who was just in Iraq herself a month ago. Martha, what's the U.S. endgame here?
Well, the immediate crisis with the danger to Erbil can likely be mitigated over the next few weeks, but it is not going away. What do you do if ISIS regroups or starts moving towards Baghdad? You have to ramp up those airstrikes again, because the goal of protecting Americans is not going to end as long as Americans are in Iraq, and they have to be there if they're going to assist the Iraqis in making sure terrorists don't establish a safe haven. And the humanitarian crisis is ongoing until you get those people off that mountain and into a safer place. That will be complicated and dangerous and take time, Byron.
Martha, what's the bottom line here?
Well, the bottom line is that we are back in Iraq in a significant way, and to sustain what President Obama says he wants to sustain, it will keep us involved and on alert there for the foreseeable future, Byron.
Martha Raddatz in Washington. Thank you, my friend. Martha will have the latest developments